Hey everyone, Matt Winterle here. Today we are at Levitate Backyard here in Marshfield, Massachusetts, and we're going to be sitting down with Anthony Habayeb and Sarah Vicidomini of the Funk You Cancer Pan Mass Challenge racing team. They're going to tell us about a couple exciting events they got coming up, all for a great cause. So let's go catch up with them. We are here at Levitate Backyard in Marshfield, Massachusetts, and I'm lucky to be joined by Anthony Habayeb and Sarah Vicidomini of the Funk You Cancer Pan Mass Challenge racing team. Thanks for sitting down with me today, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, Matt.
Will you tell us what the event's all about?
Yeah, Pan Mass Challenge is this organization that started more than 40 years ago. It is the largest athletic fundraiser in the world. It has raised almost $800 million. It is a bike challenge where participants from across the country and really world at this point get together and go across Massachusetts, Pan Mass. 100% of every dollar that participants raise as part of doing this ride goes directly to the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute.
In 2003, day after my 21st birthday, actually, I was diagnosed with cancer, with lymphoma. And through a series of events, ended up at Dana-Farber and received, I was in hospital for several days and then received, a couple weeks later, started on an intense chemotherapy regimen and radiation. 6 weeks after my diagnosis, my father was diagnosed with colorectal cancer. So you can imagine it was a really tough time for our family. We had already had the introduction to Dana-Farber, and my dad immediately, he had a really tough diagnosis, stage 4. So he was immediately admitted into the hospital. He needed a lot of chemotherapy in hospital, outside the hospital. He had a really intense surgery. We had a period of time where we were going to radiation together, like driving up every day. It was just crazy. When he was in hospital and he was going back and forth from Dana-Farber to Brigham and Women's, there's this Pan Mass Challenge Bridge to Progress is what it's called, and it has pictures of riders and patients, and he told my mom and I that he was going to ride that when he was all done. So in 2006, he rode for the first time, and it was such an incredible experience to watch. I volunteered, my mom volunteered, both my brothers volunteered as well. And then the following year, he said, "You're doing it with me." So he bought me a bike, and I had never been on a road bike before. We've both ridden many years ever since, only taking breaks, when I had children. We will forever be involved with the Pan Mass Challenge because we're so grateful for the care we received at Dana-Farber. And it's just become, my husband rides with us now. I can't wait till one day the kids can ride. So it's a really big piece of our life.
You and I have known each other for a while. I know you've done a lot of amazing things for fundraising, for support for other people, awareness for cancer in general. But there is a difference in the Pan Mass Challenge and other events that people or causes that people raise money for. Can you tell us a little bit about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to start, what Anthony said, 100% of every rider raised dollar goes back to Dana-Farber, which it sets it apart. And not only the amount of money that is raised, which also sets it apart, but there's something about the Pan Mass Challenge. I mean, if you are a volunteer, a rider, if you pick up trash on the day, if you're just coming out to cheer the riders on, you feel it. It's like nothing I've ever been a part of. It's, logistically speaking, it's incredible the way they pull this event together, right? It's seamless. I mean, they make it just so easy if you're riding. I mean, you're riding a long way, so it's nice to have that aspect of it, but also you just feel why you're there. I mean, everyone is there really for the same reason. They've been touched by cancer in one way or another, either personally, family, friends. And so the people from everyone that comes out to cheer you on, the volunteers, it's the feeling of the whole weekend that it's actually really hard to put into words.
There are so many great organizations and so many people committed to defeating cancer. I mean, we had Joe Biden leading an initiative to bring it in. I mean, it's something we all feel really strongly about. But beyond the event itself, Dana-Farber is incredible. I mean, you have Nobel Prize winning research happening there, some of the best care in the world, and when you're raising money to try and fight cancer, you really want to feel like you're making a difference. And so when you take 100% of every dollar and you give it to an organization like that, and then you read about and see the things they're doing at Dana-Farber, you feel directly connected, not just because you ride next to Sarah and you see that she's a survivor when you're doing this ride, because you hear about the amazing things that Dana-Farber Cancer Institute is doing. And you can directly say, like, this dollar that I helped get to this patient, to this research, caused this impact. That's really inspiring. And there's sometimes that you raise money and you do things and it's a good cause, but you're not quite sure. I think the PMC does this amazing job of helping you really see your money did this. And that's inspiring because you can see the result of your effort.
Yeah, every year, just to add one more thing, they have a dinner for riders, the heavy hitter riders, they call them, people who raise a certain amount of money. And every single year, there's a noteworthy speaker, whether it be a researcher, doctor, and every year they say, when the book is written on how we cured cancer, the Pan Mass Challenge will absolutely be in chapter 1. So it's pretty cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know it's a personal feat to accomplish the race, but Anthony, you've had these big parties every year. Some people are probably wondering why we're doing this here at Levitate Backyard, but Anthony, I've been lucky to go to some of the parties in what used to be in your backyard, and they're amazing and very well received and well attended, and you raised a ton of money. So will you tell us a little bit about how those started, kind of what they're all about? Maybe you have to explain the funk part so people grab that.
Yeah, there are so many people that want to make a difference, and the PMC, like we just talked about, causes a difference. But being a participant in the ride has a minimum fundraising, and that minimum fundraising is not really easy to achieve. Also because so many people in Massachusetts in particular do the PMC, and so it's almost impossible to meet someone that doesn't know someone who does the PMC. So when you think about achieving your fundraising minimum, that's a hard number. A few years ago, my wife and I, who had moved to Massachusetts not really knowing anybody, but wanted to get involved, said, let's throw a party, right? And let's raise money that way. And that's grown into, here we are at Levitate, and in September this year, and hopefully in future years, we're gonna have several hundred people really having a great night with amazing live music. Funk is the genre. That's where our team name, Funk You Cancer, comes from. But it's really an evening where people can come, and by buying their ticket, 100% of the proceeds from the ticket goes to our fundraising efforts, which goes directly to Dana-Farber, but in exchange for that ticket, they get to see an amazing band. Food and drinks are sponsored thanks to amazing sponsors. We have a really fantastic auction and raffle items, trips all over the world. We send people to the Masters tournament. But it's a special evening where we also connect about why we're here. Right. What is the impact we're having? A couple of years ago, one of the things PMC does is you have these pedal partners. And there's a local family in Duxbury, a young boy named Remy, who was going through cancer. And his family came and spoke about, almost more than half of the operating fund of Jimmy Fund comes from PMC. And it makes going to Dana-Farber affordable. And we're here in these moments, hearing these stories and seeing the impact. And 2 years later, like, Remy's kicking cancer's ass. Those are the kinds of things that a night like this makes possible. And we've raised, north of $50,000 from events like this. And we look forward to every year growing it with partners like Levitate, Dan and his wife, and the Backyard, and the great facility that they have, and sponsors like Empire Wine, and First Republic Bank, and yourself. Thank you, Matt, and Lair Lux, and some other amazing people that make a night like this possible, so that every dollar that comes into the evening goes directly to Dana-Farber.
That's fantastic. I mean, everybody's always enjoyed the band and the food, and as you said, the stories of just getting together, and it's can't wait to see what it's going to be like here. I mean, it's the huge stage, what a backdrop, and I know everybody's excited. Yeah. So we're happy to be a sponsor for you guys, for your team, just to be part of it, and hope it'll be something we continue to do.
And we want to grow the team, so we have a team. It's called Funk You Cancer. This event has really been created to help support people that would like to do the ride but might be worried about that fundraising. Everyone on our team does their own fundraising and works to hit those minimums. And if they need a little bit of help, this event can help so that we can bring more people into the PMC community. So if anyone is interested, in doing the ride,
Join
190
us.
miles, bring it on.
Well, thank you both so much for sitting down today, and looking forward to the event coming up. Thank you all for watching. Do your best to donate, support, get involved, volunteer at the Pan Mass Challenge, or better yet, get a ticket to the Funk You Cancer event that's coming up, and help the cause while also having a great time.